Creating innovative uses of technology using Edmodo and Glogster EDU to enhance the social studies classroom by Nancy Rababa. Advantages of using Edmodo. It is safe and secure, easy to set up and use, it's free, it allows for better communication between teachers and students, it can be accessed from a computer, a phone, or iPad, it does not require a computer lab, and it's flexible. Advantages of using Glogster. Students can demonstrate their mastery of technology skills. It allows for differentiated instruction. Students analyze and organize data. Students can collaborate with others. Students take ownership of their learning, and it can be used across any curriculum area. Disadvantages. Disadvantages of Edmodo include possible site issues and possible student misconduct, which this can easily be remedied by close monitoring by the teacher. Disadvantages of Glogster. Glogster is not a free tool to use. In addition, schools may block the standard version, of which you would use Glogster EDU, which is essentially the same. Also, parents may not be happy that work is public for all to see, and they may not allow their child to use this web tool. So that's also a possible disadvantage. Topic for my lessons. I decided to create my 2 lessons on the American Civil War. First of all, because I am a social studies teacher. Secondly, because in social studies, the Civil War is my favorite topic to teach. I also chose Edmodo and Glogster to help teach this topic because these 2 web tools are great for meeting Common Core state standards in English, language arts, and literacy in history and social studies, and also in science and technical subjects. So they really are great for meeting state standards. Rationale. I chose to use Edmodo for my first lesson because social studies requires a lot of student-based discussions, and this web tool allows students to do this using a social network platform, which is something that students are already familiar with using on a daily basis. And Glogster was chosen because students can create digital posters to display their knowledge of learning. Since a lot of the projects that I have done in the past have required that students display their information on a paper poster and then present it to the class, I thought this would be a great alternative that would be fun and engaging, and allow them to use their 21st century skills. Technology needed. In order to use both Edmodo and Glogster, students will need a computer with access to high-speed internet. A brief description of Lesson 1. And Lesson 1 will involve using Edmodo. And for this lesson, students are analyzing, taking a position, and reflecting on what others say. The objective of this lesson will be to analyze the feelings of those fighting in the war. Students will use their knowledge of what they learned from their readings and imagine that they are Army officers from the South, faced with a decision to either side with the Union or join the Confederacy. Procedures for the lesson. Students will read the assigned lesson from the textbook that relates to how the conflict between the North and South began to affect both sides. In class, students will conduct additional research about the soldiers in the war. Students will then create a chart listing reasons why some soldiers sided with the Union and others with the Confederacy. They will then analyze how the Southern soldiers felt about having to choose a side to defend. Students will then visualize themselves as Southern soldiers faced with the dilemma of having to choose a side. They will decide which side they would defend, and then using Edmodo, they will post their decision and give 2 reasons supporting their position. Students will then comment on 3 posts written by their peers. A great extension for this assignment would be to have students analyze and post to Edmodo what they think Robert E. Lee meant by the following quote. And the following quote was taken from the American Nation textbook that my students are currently using. And it reads as follows: I have not been able to make up my mind to raise my hand against my relatives, my children, my home. Once again, students will go on Edmodo and post what they think he meant by that following quote. A brief description of Lesson 2. Lesson 2 has to do with Glogster, using Glogster. And this lesson requires students to research a historical person and create a digital poster that represents the life of the person and his/her significance in United States history. Students will be assigned a person who had a role in American history from the time of slavery and reform movements all the way to the American Civil War. Students will be required to use audio, video, images, text, and graphics to tell about the life of their assigned person. Procedures for the lesson. Students will first be assigned a famous historical person, and some examples are Abraham Lincoln, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, Nat Turner. Then students will use the internet to research information about the life of their assigned historical figure and save that information to a USB drive for when they have to create their blog, and so they can later access it. And students will also look for copyright safe material such as pictures, video, and audio sources to use, and also save these to a USB drive for later access for when they are going to create their blog. It just makes things a lot easier. And then students will log into their Glogster account and will begin creating their digital poster. Now, if students don't know how to create a digital poster, I will be providing them with a YouTube video that shows them exactly what they have to do. But usually I find that I don't have to provide videos, how-to videos for my students when it comes to using technology, because they just know how to do it. They just know. And if they don't know, they just like to, play around with the website themselves to figure it out. So students will use various forms of multimedia to create a digital poster that represents the life of their historical person. They will then publish their blog and share the URL with their teacher. And then they will present their blog to their classmates. Both Edmodo and Glogster can be used across curriculum subjects. All teachers can easily implement either of the tools for anything that they wish to do in the classroom. And with these tools, 21st century skills can easily become a part of the classroom. And I just wanted to show you the Edmodo and Glogster sites really quick, just so you could see what they look like. And here is the Edmodo site, and Edmodo is free, and free is always good. Okay, and so if you haven't signed up, if you don't have Edmodo, then you would just sign up for free. Okay, fill in your email address, create a password, and you sign up for free. Okay, or if you've already done so, you may just log in. And then, so here's your sign up, and here is your login. And then, if you're a student, if you're students and you need to get on the site, you will provide your group code that was given you by your teacher and fill in whatever information that you need to fill in. Okay, so that's pretty easy. And on Edmodo, teacher can post alerts, post discussion questions, create a quiz, there's just a variety of different things that you could do with Edmodo. Okay, and so let me show you Glogster, because Glogster is my favorite. Okay, so for Glogster, let me see, let's go back really quick with it, close that. Okay, so now this says here that I am using the limited free account, and yes, they do have a limited free account, however, it is limited, and you can only sign up 10 students under your account, and it has limited access to Glog content and administration features and cloud storage and other limitations. So really, you really would want to have your school purchase this, and this would really, I mean, this is really something that I really would suggest. Um, and so let's go down here really quick. You can favorite glogs. You can explore Glogpedia, and this is wonderful because they have glogs on everything: social studies, science, math, arts and music, language arts, world languages, health and fitness. I mean, it's just there's just a plethora of awesome stuff. Just it's so wonderful. Okay, let me just scroll down a little bit just so you can get a look-see. And here is one. I'll just show you one that I created myself. And this has to do with Abraham Lincoln because I love social studies and I love the Civil War, and he is part of the Civil War. And so here, Abe Lincoln, and I put audio and I put video and I put all kinds of good stuff. And this was a lot of fun for me to do. And I always tell my students, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Okay. And so that is it. And the end. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.